But let's move on to long ball number 2, the big game of Sunday in the soccer world. Pep Guardiola forced to respond to Anfield jeers, holding up a 6 after the Anfield crowd jeers him with the classic, "You're getting sacked in the morning."
Yeah, this what we ended up doing, you and I, as we were getting ready for the show, is I just typed in, Pep Guardiola into Google, as you do. And if you click on the news tab on the Google search, and I know we don't trust Google anymore, Google's bad or whatever. I don't know where we are on that. But you can pull up, obviously, all the stories on what Pep did and how this went for Manchester City and Anfield. And I think we all saw the win for Liverpool coming. But Pep Guardiola holding up 6 fingers as he was being jeered by Liverpool fans who were saying, singing, "You're going to be sacked in the morning," which is hilarious. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's something that like every other like human being type manager has heard in England, especially down in the lower leagues. Like you lose a couple in a row, and the way fans or whoever the opposing fans are going to jeer you like that, and to have the most accomplished coach get that too is just brilliant.
Do Liverpool fans singing at Pep really think he's getting sacked in the morning? No, they don't think that. They are simply trying to wind you up, Pep. So why would you give them ammunition? Why would you respond with the 6 fingers? "I've got 6 titles." Why would you do that? That doesn't serve you any purpose, and it gets us headlines like The Mirror. And again, we're talking tabloids here, so let's just consider the source. Man City crisis has brought out the worst in Pep Guardiola. He's behaving like a spoilt, I can't say that word, it's the T at the end, spoilt child. This is from David Anderson, the football correspondent at The Mirror. Pep Guardiola's acting like a child, Rob. This is the deepest, darkest abyss for Pep Guardiola at Manchester City.
Because he had a kind of a tongue-in-cheek response to the crowd cheering him. Sure, that's not the most dramatic response you could possibly ever have. I mean, his side are bedraggled at the moment.
Bedraggled, that's a good word too. You saw that somewhere, right? They're bedraggled.
Yeah, the Manchester City are currently bedraggled after their loss to Liverpool. But I was going to say, so Pep in a very uncomfortable, unfamiliar position, bringing out some different characteristics of the manager. Is this maybe forcing him into Mourinho territory, a serial winner now, kind of boxed into a corner?
Yeah, that's a good question. We talked about the timing of him signing the extension and how he would traditionally do that around the November international break. And he did. He did it this time. Mm. And we tried to read that. Like, I think you could read it as Pep really believes, whether he has information or he just has a belief, that the charges against City are not going to come to much. And he'll be fine moving forward as City's manager, and he'll have another chance to win titles and Champions Leagues and all those things. Or he is just at this point 100% a company man. He is through and through a company man and can't imagine himself managing anywhere else at this moment. Like, the thing about the Bayern Munich experience, right? Barcelona, I don't remember why Barca ended exactly, Rob. He just wanted to try something different. It was a new challenge. I don't recall exactly why he left Barca, because he could have spent a decade and a half at Barcelona. He could have just stayed there. It's his club. He was the architect of the best team most people have ever seen in terms of on the field, what they did on the field. His connection, but maybe that was also part of it. Like, I don't know if I want to just be a Barcelona man. The Bayern Munich thing, Bayern Munich is a very chaotic, very messy, very dramatic, very teen drama club. Like, there's always something going on at Bayern Munich, and clearly he was over that. Why he is not choosing to leave City when he has every right, he's won everything. Why not just say, hey, this is too much for me. I'm going to go look for my next thing. I don't know. This is very interesting to me. I've also heard it said that this is a little bit of a wagging the dog situation, that Pep signed his contract to send a message. He was asked basically, hey, as a company man, as a guy who we have helped build into this all-time great manager with the resources we've given you, can you sign this contract, which is always breakable because contracts are breakable.
He said that in his post-game press conference. It's just a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's just a piece of paper. He maybe signed the contract just to help City shift the Overton window or move focus away from all the bad things that were hanging around them, because they have again, the charges, they're pushing to liberalize the rules around resources and revenue and what you can claim and all those things for PSR. Maybe that's what's going on here. But the soccer collapsing this way, and man, I don't know, Rob. Do you think do you buy into this very reductive idea that this is Rodri? Without Rodri, they just aren't City, and this is what's showing up in these matches.
It certainly doesn't help, and I also think that Kovacic being out doesn't help either, because Manchester City have always thrived, and they are the purest form of themselves when they have the ball. And they've always, even at their prime, they've always been susceptible to a counterattack. But their midfielders, there's been a couple over, the iterations, but right now it's Rodri and Kovacic that is the guy that's going to track or cut down or prevent those counterattacks from happening. And
Right.
as it is, none of the Manchester City midfielders have that in them. I don't know if it's a mentality or just the legs or what, but when they turn the ball over, that counterattack is not hacked down. It is not snuffed out, because 9 times out of 10, City wouldn't allow them their weakness to be exploited. But no one's getting close to those counterattacks now, and it's happening every single game.
Yes, right. Yeah, I mean, how much of this is, I think what's interesting too is to kind of consider, because when you have the best talent, and typically City did, maybe they don't exactly now, and obviously injuries are part of this, but when you have the best talent, this is the Phil Jackson thing, right? Is Phil Jackson a great basketball coach, or did he just always have the best team, the best players? And if you have the best players, your margin for error is much smaller. And if you choose a tactical plan that is within reason, you should be winning things. The question is whether or not Pep elevated a great group of players to an even higher level than they would have reached with another manager. Or, as we are witnessing with Rodri out, with the issues they have in midfield, maybe Pep wasn't as important to this City team as we thought. Maybe it was largely down to personnel.
And add to that, Kyle Walker was that kind of another safety valve. So if they did get beyond the hack of the midfield, Kyle Walker had the pace and the form to follow those up and slow those down. And he is not the player he once was. So it might be a combination, almost a perfect storm of, he doesn't have his Ballon d'Or winner. He doesn't have the backup to his Ballon d'Or winner. Kevin De Bruyne is not the same player as he used to be. Erling Haaland is basically absent without, in the current form. I mean, he, ever since a lot of talk online, since he told the Arsenal folks to stay humble, he has been, a humble version of himself. So I think it's a little bit of a perfect storm, but it reflects on personnel, and maybe it'll take that pontification. A lot of the time people say, I wish Pep would, coach a regular team to see how he does on a more level playing field. And, maybe this is the closest thing we'll see to it, with this Manchester City not being the peak of all the peaks in